Hi everybody, my name is Pollo Del Mar. And whether you're joining me through the HuffingtonPost.com, GuideToGay.com, or my YouTube channel, welcome to another edition of Name Dropping with Pollo. For all of you out there who happen to be on such websites as bear411.com, and for those of you who don't know what that is, that's a dating site for plus-size gay men, or perhaps you've been on Scruff or even on Grindr, don't be surprised if you actually see RuPaul's Drag Race star, Mystique Summers. That's right, I was shocked recently when Mystique tweeted somebody who actually saw her on Grindr and said, "No, you are not the real Mystique Summers." Surprise! It really was the real Mystique Summers. And she was telling me in our recent interview why it is she's just open about her reality TV past when she goes on these dating sites.
The profile I have states, "Hi, I'm Mystique Summers from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 2. Some people knew about the drag side, and then when the show aired, I got the email quite often that I'm just going to forget it. I'm just going to put it on my profile. So all my profiles have it. Like Scruff, I have the feature member icon on my profile.
I'm like the spokeswoman for Scruff and Bear 411.
Well, I'm trying. It's one step at a time.
As you might imagine, Mystique's dating experiences are really no different than what most drag queens encounter, except for the fact that she has, of course, been on reality television. We had a great 30-minute conversation, and I'm going to make sure all of that's available to you on GuideToGay.com, so check it out. Meanwhile, follow Mystique on Twitter and look her up on Facebook. I'm going to provide that information as well. Now, another superstar that I spoke with this week is DEV. You might remember DEV on the Far East Movement's Like a G6. Actually, she wrote that. It's from her hit, Booty Bounce. And Like a G6, Like a G6. This week I had my opportunity to do my fourth interview with DEV. Perhaps you already know her top 20 hit, In the Dark. Now, In the Dark has been climbing the charts since February, and it's just now a major crossover hit at pop radio, as well as on Billboard dance charts where it's in the top 10. For those of you who don't know what her hit In the Dark is about, she's confirmed it actually is about masturbation. After meeting DEV, she is not the type of person who strikes me as hypersexualized. Let's talk to her about whether or not the rest of her album is going to be as sexual as her first solo hit.
It's funny, there's a lot of different stuff. There's a couple songs that are really upbeat, some that are personal ballads, some that are R&B based. But you know, there are a couple that are a little bit more sexual than, you know, based on the Mystique work, that's for sure. But without being too overboard, because, you know, like you said, generally I'm not overly like that as a person. But that's the fun of being able to be an artist. I can kind of do whatever I want and express whatever I want. So yeah, but definitely In the Dark holds that down. That sort of sexual side down more than any other song, I think.
Be sure to pick up DEV's debut CD coming out very, very soon. It's going to be called The Night That the Sun Came Up. And of course, you can go over to iTunes and download her debut solo single. That means she's not featuring the Cataracts, she's not featuring the Far East Movement, she's not featuring anyone, actually. It's just DEV, and her single is called In the Dark. Another interview I had this week, incredible singer-songwriter who you may know from either her #1 single, which she wrote for Rihanna and Eminem, called I Love the Way You Lie, or perhaps you're already familiar with her new debut single called Invinsible. I'm talking, of course, about Skylar Grey. Skylar Grey has had two top 5 or top 20 hits, one on I'm Coming Home with Puff Daddy, or P. Diddy, or however it is that he's billing himself these days. And of course, she was also featured on I Need a Doctor with Eminem and Dr. Dre. Now, I spoke with Skylar about her upcoming debut CD called Invinsible. It's not spelled exactly the way that you would think, but I talked to her about how it is that she managed to connect in the world of hip-hop.
Working in hip-hop was totally a random thing that I did not plan on happening. And so one of the things that I wanted to do with hip-hop was mix it up a bit because I was sick of all these rappers, you know, always trying to be so tough and act like they don't have any problems. Their problems, you know, not that they don't have any problems, but just that they don't have any emotional problems. It was like tough and money and bling and all this stuff, and I'm like, that's not really real. Like, so I wanted to bring vulnerability and you know, more of a softer side to hip hop, and that's what I did.
Again, that was Skylar Grey, singer-songwriter whose debut CD will be coming out very soon. But in the interim, check her out on YouTube and download her first single, Invinsible. Let me tell you, when she was telling me what inspired her to write Invinsible, it was kind of heartbreaking. She said that she felt like such an incredible failure after she released her actual first CD, and nobody seemed to care. And she went off to live by herself, kind of in isolation, where she started to write and produce new music, which of course will be on her follow-up coming very soon. Her first single, Invinsible, now on iTunes and YouTube. In the next few weeks, there's some tremendous events happening and taking place. First and foremost, on Friday, October 7th, I'm going to be doing a big fundraising event for the Bay Area Young Positives. It is their coming of age event, 21 years of service. Bay Area Young Positives turns 21, and they will be holding a celebration at the San Francisco African American Arts and Cultural Center. It's going to be a great drag show, hors d'oeuvres, and more supporting that. So please check out more information about that on the Bay Area Young Positives website. I also want you to note the October 11th release of Erasure's 14th studio album. Now, Andy Bell and Vince Clarke have reunited as Erasure, an iconic 80s synth pop band, and I absolutely am infatuated with their new CD called Tomorrow's World. There'll be more details about that in the next edition of Name Dropping when I interview Andy Bell of Erasure. You're not going to want to miss that. And truTV's Scott Nevins and Noah's Ark star Wilson Cruz are going to be together one night only at San Francisco's Rrazz Room, Wednesday, October 26th. Mark your calendar for that, and don't miss my interview with both of those hotties in an upcoming edition of Name Dropping. And last but not least, Heclina and Trannyshack return for their Halloween edition on Saturday, October 29th, and I, in fact, am going to be returning for the first time in quite a long time to the Trannyshack stage. I hope you all come out and join us. There's so many things that we want to talk about, but we're out of time. I love name dropping with you guys. So please, look me up on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. My name is Pollo Del Mar, and until we're together again, we've been name dropping.